Charlie Kirk shoots down a mob of woke snowflakes. This is going to be a good one, guys. I think you're going to like it. You've got, I don't know what to say. You know, it's a snowflake extravaganza. All right. There's really not much else to say. So we're going to get right into it. But first, do me a big favor here. Like our video and share it around so we can keep bringing you guys this great, hard-hitting content. And as always, everybody, I'm your host, Darian, and this is Resist the Mainstream.
If cocaine was right here and I took it, is it the person who dropped it there or my fault if I took it?
I think the question of fault is a wrong
My
one.
fault. It's my fault if I take it.
But then
See,
what
I
motivated
believe
you to take it?
I believe that people are responsible for their own decisions, not society.
Exactly, but black communities have been redlined for centuries. So families and black
Wait, so
men
black people are too stupid to know otherwise
have
not
been
take drugs?
redlined.
Is
I
that your
said
argument?
redline.
No, that's your argument.
Did I say redline?
So your argument is that black people are too
No,
stupid
no,
and like
exactly.
drugs come, they must use them.
Exactly, they've been redlined to communities, and then
That's
the
your
drugs are
argument.
being brought into
No,
the community.
I believe-
they're being overexposed to it,
So,
and thus they're more
first of
likely
all,
to take it.
so to your
Same
point-
with white people. You know, so many white people have birthday do cocaine too, right?
So your point,
How is
we
that
don't have
different?
enough people in prison, okay? So
I don't have enough.
we under-incarcerate rapists, under-incarcerate sexual
That's what I
offenders.
said?
Average rapist gets 3.5 years in prison. 3.5 years. Rapists should get prison to life and castration. We under-imprison people. We probably over-imprison people for some drug possession crimes. You and I could find agreement on that.
Okay.
Not drug dealing.
And those crimes happen to fall along racial lines. So
No, they don't. No, they don't. So blacks
But the
commit more crimes than
FBI
white
has
people.
statistics behind both,
So
I'm Hispanic too. As well.
look, blacks commit more crimes than white people. Don't have to say it out loud. It's just the way it works.
No.
Blacks,
So then my question is why?
why? Because they don't have fathers in the home.
And then
So-
how does that happen? We can't just stop asking why.
Right, exactly. The question. So that's a good question. First of all, it's culture. No one wants to say it.
How does culture arise?
Is it really a surprise when your average rap song is about any number of terrible, degenerate things? You know, you've got ending the lives of people, slinging bling bling, all right, doing recreational substances and also dealing them around all over the place. You know, got to get that money. You know, gotta F this hoe and that hoe and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay. Real shocker that the culture isn't good. You know, real shocker.
We can't divorce the laws that we're living in from how we
we
behave.
inserted ourselves, the federal government in the 1960s, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Great Society Act, inserted themselves in the black community primarily, tore down the homes, put up vertical housing units like Caprini Green and others, and then we brought in massive government programs where black women married the government and separated from black men, creating this chasm where we subsidize single motherhood. Black women and women in general America lose money if they get married, and that's not right. So we subsidize single motherhood. 75% of black babies in America do not have a stable father in the home. 75%. Every statistic will show if you bring fathers back in the home, crime goes down,
Where's that statistic?
depression goes
Where's
down.
that statistic?
Fatherhood.org, look it up. It's publicly funded. California's government
is that
funds it.
statistic based on marriage? On
It's-
marriage rates?
Well, it depends on whether there's a stable father in the home, right? So how they tabulate it, I'm not really sure, but you go to fatherhood.org. It's publicly funded by the federal government, by state governments. It's like the most nonpartisan. Yeah, just look it up. Fatherhood.org.
This 3 out of 4 figure that Charlie shared about being a single parent home is very important because in the 1960s, can you guess what the single motherhood rate was for black families? You guessed 1 out of 4. That is correct. 1 out of 4 versus 3 out of 4. Think about the difference that makes. That is insane. And what happened in the 60s? Well, for one thing, black people were actually doing far better on average in terms of economic outcomes and family life than they were now. Did the country suddenly get a lot more racist? I don't think so. I mean, unless you could argue it did get more racist in the sense that Lyndon Baines Johnson back in the 60s did the whole Great Society reform. And as part of that, he very purposely, as Charlie Kirk just described, essentially married black women to the government in an effort to get them away from their husbands. Truly a despicable man. Now, that snowflake smashing right there was fine and dandy. Let's see another example of that. And it's a little bit weird because, yeah, Charlie Kirk did smash the snowflake, of course, metaphorically, but this snowflake might want to smash Charlie Kirk in a, let's just say, a different metaphorical kind of sense.
Firstly, as a liberal, I would like to say I'm shaking right now, and I'm coming here with respect because I do not want to end up on a highlight reel. And I also am intimidated, as I think you are very beautiful. It is my belief, correct me if I'm wrong, that you are not completely against immigration, as long as the people coming here share the values present in this country. That being said, don't you believe we have a duty to take in Muslim refugees who oftentimes have different values than ours, as we have directly or indirectly destabilized dozens of Muslim countries from Iraq and Iran by invading them and pushing our values down their throats, democracy, which has proven to be a failure in other countries?
No, we don't have an obligation to take them in. Thank you.
Okay.
But hold on, I want to just try to drill in on something. That bothers you, and it should, which is our reckless foreign policy agenda. So then would you entertain voting for Trump, who started no new wars for 4 years of his presidency?
But he continued like the Afghanistan war.
No, he tried to end it. He did everything he could to actually troops were getting out. You know how many troops died under Donald Trump's last 18 months? 0 American service members were killed over the last 18 months. And under Joe Biden, the withdrawal was reckless and terrible, and you saw what happened.
That's true, but he didn't end the war. He tried to.
Well, fair enough. But the way that Biden ended, I don't think is something we should ever praise, right? It's like saying you got to get an appendix removed and you take out a pocket knife and you just start it was one of the most catastrophic, humiliating withdrawals and moments in American history.
Yeah, I really hate this argument of, oh, well, Trump didn't do it and Biden did, so, whatever. It's always focused on, the talking point of like, oh, gotcha, rather than looking at the situation honestly and assessing it for what it is. Let's not forget that Donald Trump laid the foundation for Joe Biden to even pull out in the first place. And that senile fool still screwed it up. I mean, it's really quite incredible. Okay, we all know that Trump would not have allowed it to go down the way it did. And there's a reason why he didn't pull out during his first term. Aside from that, you had generals kind of working behind the scenes to subvert him. That was definitely going on. I really sincerely believe that Trump did not want to do it until he knew he was sure that he could do it in a safe and successful manner. As Kirk just pointed out, for the last 18 months before the pullout, there were 0 U.S. casualties in the entire nation of Afghanistan. That is impressive, and it's something that Trump should be commended for. What Biden should not be commended for was that disgusting, messy pullout. And I've seen even some on the right say this, where they'll say, well, he pulled out, and at the end of the day, it was going to be messy. So, it is what it is. Yeah. Why don't you tell that to the families of the service members who needlessly died and lost their lives because of Joe Biden and those stupid generals' incompetence? I really don't like this attitude of, it's going to kind of suck. You can't complain, blah, blah, blah. No, we should hold ourselves to a higher standard and high regard. And by the way, this should apply with any president, whether it's Biden or Trump. Okay, Trump's not immune to it, all right? He's in office now, or rather going to be soon. That's great. We need to hold his feet to the fire to ensure that he delivers for the American people. I know this is not a popular opinion to say sometimes in certain right-wing circles because, they'll start acting like you're a liberal or something because you have standards. Ridiculous. All that to say, hold your leaders in high regard, and more importantly, make sure they hold themselves in a high regard.
So I'm curious though, because with Biden, we have new wars everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. We're dropping bombs in Yemen, we're dropping bombs in Syria. We're giving $100 billion just this last time to Ukraine versus Russia. We have Israel, Hamas. So does the actual concrete data that shows that Trump was a peacemaker and kept stability abroad, is that persuasive to you?
With Ukraine, I feel like the Ukraine war is justified. I feel like war is not always justified, and I think you agree with that because I think you support what Israel is doing in Gaza right now. But I feel like the world is going down and American influence is leaving, and we have a right and we must aid Ukraine.
Okay, yeah, I disagree with that. Took a lot of courage for you to get up to this mic. I appreciate it. We have clarity but not agreement. I hope you vote for Trump.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This guy is saying we must aid Ukraine? Wrong. Yeah. No, you know what? It doesn't even make sense because you see so many people who complain about the wars in the Middle East, but then they totally support Ukraine and getting ourselves involved with that. Or, Israel, something exception. None of it makes sense, guys. Have a coherent ideology or worldview, please. Anyways, with all that being said, we really hope you enjoyed the clip, guys. I know it was a little strange at the end there, but hey, what can we do? It was funny. So please be sure to comment below. Let us know what you like about the clip, what kind of stuff you want to see in the future, and we'll see everybody again soon. God bless.